Hi guys, welcome back to Be Adventures. Now, when I announced not long ago, I put up a video saying that I'll be traveling again. I was talking about Philippines. And why Philippines, right? So technically I've already been to Philippines 3 times already. It's 2016, so this is going to be my 4th trip. And, I speak about that in another video. But basically, I'll continue on because I kept getting calls. I had to go meet my friends and we were interrupted. So I'm going to try and explain why Philippines again. So for me, there's been a lot of awesome, amazing first-time experiences. Because my other video was so popular, the funny stories from Philippines. So we're going to do some more funny stories, and but also explain why Philippines. So the first time on an actual motorbike, that was a big deal for me. Where I'd a bit scared, never been on an actual 2-wheel motorbike before. So first time on a motorbike in Philippines, just great. So it's just more. It's not so much I guess Philippines, it's that I've had the opportunity to have new experiences there. Just one of those things. So for example, it might be Thailand. A friend of mine, he loves Thailand because same thing, he had all these wonderful experiences in Thailand. It doesn't mean one's better than the other, it's just about what works for you and what appeals to you. The menstruation thing, check out the first video if you haven't seen it. The menstruation thing, that was huge. And the reason why I like it, I like how girls in Philippines tell you, they tell you, I've got menstruation. You go, okay. But then to be considerate, they're not feeling well, don't upset this person. What else? Yeah, I mean, look, I know it's not for everyone, but I got to experience a lot of shooting sports. So if you're into shooting sports, you can go check out those videos. But it's so ironic just because it's so strict in Australia. It's actually cheaper for me, believe it or not, at this point in time, to fly to Philippines, do those things, than to actually even do it here in Australia. But anyway, first time traveling with a nun. I don't, if that's on your bucket list, you can tick that off. But I met that nun in Cebu, in Manila airport, and we traveled together to Cebu. But that was cool, that I could just start talking to a nun, and we traveled together and became friends. She was really cool. First time getting the matchmaker at an airport, like security guards were really cool. They're like, hey, do you have a girlfriend? Because we can matchmake. We got a girl here, she's single. Even the manager would come out and introduce me. Oh my lord, it shows how friendly they are. It's very nice, but yeah, usually airports are very intimidating, like, hey, what are you carrying and what is your business here? Usually they're very intimidating and strict. Where in Philippines they were much nicer, they were very friendly and trying to matchmake me and find me a girlfriend, so it's nice. What else? Unlimited rice. Now, that's a big deal. Like, I guess I might have experienced it somewhere else and not noticed, but unlimited rice, I don't know, it's just this culture. Like, if you go to a restaurant and you're paying good money, it's not uncommon to get unlimited rice. I don't know, it's just one of those things. The rice culture is huge there. I mean, it's not uncommon in Asia. Rice is a very important staple. It's used for everything. Rice paper, rice wine, and of course, just eating, rice noodles, eating steamed rice. So, it's an important part of the culture. I haven't experienced it, but I've heard of counterfeit rice. I haven't actually experienced it, or not to my knowledge. You can actually get fake rice, meaning it's like plastic. Sometimes it's made of cornmeal as well. I was just interested to learn that the Bureau of Customs in Philippines have been discovering fake rice. So, Anyway, we'll keep going. Hiring my own boat and going island hopping. So I didn't think that was possible. Like, usually I go on a tour, but I actually hired my own boat and went island hopping. But that was like very unique. Like not everyone can do it. I was lucky enough to meet some tour guides, and they were on vacation. They were on their leave time. So they said, hey, we're free. If you want, we can hook you up and get you a boat. And we went island hopping. That was in Cebu. You can go see the video. It's one of my most popular videos. Oh yeah, first time on a naval boat. In Palawan, Dos Palmas Island in Palawan. Beautiful, one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. Really, ever. Absolutely beautiful. So it's an island resort. And there are these really nice naval guys, like sailors. And they were there to protect the island because there's been kidnappings there many years ago. Around 2008. So thankfully they've upgraded the security and there's Philippine Navy there. So yeah, they were really cool, and I got to go on the naval boat and hang out with them. They were really cool. But I hope they don't get in trouble. Yeah, first time on a pedicab. The pedicab is a tricycle, you know, the motorbike with a sidecar. And they really max them out in some places in Philippines. Like they really reinforce them and make them quite big. So first time with 11 people on a tricycle. With construction equipment. We had poles and wire. There was a construction equipment on top. Because these work guys had jumped on and put their equipment. So 11 people. That was in Mabinay. Watch the Mabinay Springs video, yeah. Never did I thought we could do it, but hey. Only in Philippines, you know. The Sagada caving, I'm sorry that it was very hard because it was very wet in the caves and it was very dark, so our safety was more important, and there was a few times people nearly fell and myself nearly fell. And these Sagada caves, if you've heard of Mortal Kombat, there's a computer game, and there's something called like a Fatality when you finish your opponent and you fall down like a spiked pit and you land in these spikes. So if you know what I mean, Mortal Kombat, this computer game, that's what Sagada caves are like. They've got these stalagmites, you know, the spikes at the bottom of the cave, these stone spikes. So if you fall 30 meters, you die, right? And then you land on these spikes, you're gonna get impaled, you know. So yeah, that was amazing, but you know, absolutely beautiful waterfall inside the cave. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. So it was very hard to capture because it was dark, and because of the movement. And forgive me, you know, I was still learning how to make videos. But yeah, if you ever get a chance, check out the Sagada caves. You know, going caving and take the long tour. The long tour, I think it's about 3 hours. That's how long it took us. Oh, amazing adventure. And you know, in Australia and America, usually you've got safety standards. You have to wear a helmet, you have to wear a harness and rope, and you know, all safe. Man, we didn't have any of that. And there's this very cool American guy. Like, I wish I spoke to him more. It was very interesting, man. Like, you know, young guy, and we're just talking, hanging out, and he's like, "F that! I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it." And he did it. But we had to get a rope and swing across this ridge inside the cave, and there's the 30-meter drop. So that's why it's like, yeah, we wouldn't usually do that in Australia or America, but after you do it, it's like, man, you survived. You know, you've done the whole Indiana Jones, you've done the whole adventuring, you survived the Sagada caves. So, anyway, it's not for everyone, but if you're into hiking and caving, certainly recommend it. And just things like that, just amazing experiences that I guess I wouldn't be able to have here in Australia. And that's why I hung out with that American afterwards, where we were sharing stories, and he was saying the same, like, you know, at the start you're like, no way, if they told you this is what happens, no way would you do it. But afterwards you're like, oh wow, what an amazing experience and adventure, you know, and really boosts your confidence. Yeah, I was hesitant to talk about this, but in all seriousness, guys, I've had some stalkers in Philippines, and like some girls, and it was crazy. Like I'd never had this experience before. Really aggressive girls like chasing me and trying to control me, and just like, you know, like literally waiting outside my hotel, or waiting, you know, just chasing after me. It was just crazy. But anyway, look, some might say it's a good problem to have, but it is very stressful. To be careful what you wish for. Yeah, it's a little crazy. Anyway, I'll move on. The natural springs in Mabinay, I mean, they were so blue, you know, and I believe it's the natural minerals in the water and in that area. There was no dye. Usually when there's dye, the rock is stained, you can tell. But yeah, just these beautiful natural springs in Mabinay. If you look at the videos, they really don't do it justice. The water was really so blue, you know, it looks so beautiful. Yeah, same with Siquijor, by the way. Siquijor Island, same. The water was so beautiful and blue, you know, both at the sea as well as inland, the natural springs, you know, beautiful. Speaking of Siquijor, first time filling up a little truck in the cabin with fuel. So what do I mean, right? Usually a truck has a fuel tank at the back, and you open the fuel tank and you pour in the gasoline or petrol. We say petrol in Australia, you know. You know, you put in the fuel, whatever it is. This guy, the driver, he was really cool too. He was good to me, but he was my driver and tour guide, even though he didn't speak much English. He had this plastic container, like a drink container, and he unscrewed it and he started pouring in gasoline, the fuel in the cabin, you know, in the driver area. I was like, oh, Kuya, what are you doing? And you can go watch the video. And that was his fuel tank. That was actually the fuel tank. So in order to save fuel, he just has this little, whatever, 3-4 litre fuel tank in the cabin next to the driver's seat. Anyway, so the point is, in order to save fuel, this driver would just buy literally 1 litre bottles of fuel, gasoline, literally at these jungle stops, little market stores, and then they'd just come fill it up, however much he needed, and that way it was a bit more affordable. But yeah, like you wouldn't usually see that in Australia or America, but it's all part of the adventure. Oh look, I'll finish up soon, guys. The IV drip in Balay restaurant in Dipolog City in Mindanao. Go watch the video. IV insertion, when they put the drip, the medical drip. Yeah, I've never seen that done in a restaurant before, Well, I haven't actually seen it done in person, so it was really cool that we got to do it in a restaurant. So yeah, if you don't believe me, go check out the video. That was an amazing experience. I felt for my friend Leia, beautiful Filipino. She's married, by the way, guys, so chill out. But beautiful Filipino, but I felt for it because she was unwell and they did this whole IV thing, but it was very hard to believe, but anyway. That's why it's more fun in the Philippines, like you literally don't know what to expect. So that's actually the ongoing theme here. You really don't know what to expect. As much as you plan and as much as you do your research, whatever, that is important. That really is important. But once you get in country, yeah, you gotta go with the flow. It's another ball game. Anyway, first time traveling with a group of 40 beautiful Filipinas. They were not all Filipinos, there were some guys too. And most of them were married, by the way. And that was that big trip we took to Mindanao. So that was a wonderful experience. There was older people, younger people. Some people had kids. So it was just this wonderful opportunity because you're traveling together, so you become close and you have to look out for each other. And that's how I became friends with those nurses because, some spoke very good English and some were just also very sociable like me, and we got along very well, and they were just cool people, educated, nice, respectable people. Yeah, first time sleeping on a ferry boat. I mentioned that in a previous video, but hey, again, go with the flow. So we're on a ferry boat. It's going for a few hours. Got my backpack and we slept on a ferry boat. So something I wouldn't usually do in Australia. So something very cool. And I've already sort of talked about it, but yeah, it's you got to learn how to adapt. It's not for everyone. So I'll say that straight. Some people just won't like it in Philippines because you really have to learn to adapt and go with the flow. There will be points of huge frustration. It's different. Like in Australia, things are very organized. You must book, you must call ahead, you must book things organized, pre-planned, prepaid, all these sort of things. Where in Philippines, I think really to me, that's why it's more fun in the Philippines. Because as much as you plan and as much as you prepare, there's just things you won't know about. There's just things you just don't expect. And either you adapt and go with that and make the most of it, or, you might have a very bad experience. And don't get me wrong, I had plenty of bad experiences in Philippines, but I also tried to adapt and make it a win. And funny enough, you don't know at the time, but later on when I got more information and spoke to more locals and whatever, I found out, it was actually a blessing in disguise. I'll give you a simple example. For example, I wanted to go to the Sumaging region in 2013, but then a super typhoon hit. So things like that. So when I cancelled that trip, I was a bit upset, okay. But, it's a blessing in disguise. It was dangerous to go there. And I ended up going to Cebu and Boracay. So I went to some other places instead, which were, very nice. Okay, so I'm going to finish up. I'm probably running out of time. Maybe I've been talking too long already. But I'll finish up with a little thing about weddings. Culturally, I don't. It's just me, but culturally, weddings are so different. For example, I'm sure it's probably the same in America or Canada or Australia. Usually, when we have a wedding, we invite people by invitation. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a fancy invite, even just an email, just so people know the location and the date. So your wedding might be 1st of January, New Year in 2016. So people know it's in Australia at this hotel, so they turn up, right? But in Philippines, they don't do that. They literally just go, hey, it's my wedding in June. Okay, my friend, when? In June, mid-June sometime. Where? In Philippines. Where in Philippines? Maybe in Negros. I'm not kidding, man. That's That's how they do it. I'm not kidding. Like, and it freaked me out. And these friends were getting upset, right? So these are Filipino friends here in Australia. And I was like harassing them, and I could tell we were going to have an argument. And I felt bad because they're my friends. I didn't want to argue, but I was like, guys, can you please give me an invitation to the wedding? They're like, look, why are you so formal? Why are you so fussy all the time? The wedding is in Philippines and in April. And I said, this is my Filipino friend, my friend's wife. And I said, look, I don't want to upset you. I'm not being fussy, but where? Where in Philippines? And she says, Davao City. My God, Davao City, okay? Just go to Davao City. I said, what is Davao City? I said, I don't know where that is. I said, okay, so I'm going to go look it up. Excuse me, guys. But yeah, I was like, look, I'm going to go look it up. Can you give me a clue? They're like, it's in Mindanao. And I was like, oh my goodness, Mindanao is meant to be this dangerous region. It is. I have to be responsible, guys. I do want to say I like Mindanao. I love it. But for foreigners, it's not safe. Okay, so I have to be responsible running this channel. I know many of you may go there with your wives and your girlfriends, or you have family there. That's different because you have a local with you. Okay, like us, when we have friends and family with us, it's different. Okay, when you have a local with you. So just as a general rule, I would say foreigners do not go to Mindanao. It's just not safe enough. There's not enough security. Okay, and that in itself is something the government is working on, the Philippine government, but just as a general rule, don't go there. The exception would be Davao City, because Davao City is the safest city in Philippines. The reason why, it's very well managed. So the current administration in Davao City, the Duterte family, or Rodrigo Duterte, not to get into the politics, he does manage that city very, very well. That's why it's so safe. Okay, so anyway, moving on. So these friends, I didn't know any of this stuff, right? And I'm like, so, okay, I'm going to go to Davao City in April, and I guess I'll look for you. Like, do people know you? Do I just say, where's my friend who is getting married? And they're getting ticked off. They're like, look, we will make you a nice invitation with frills and nice paper and cardboard. Okay, later. We'll give it to you later. And I was like, no. I said, oh, sorry. I don't need a physical invitation. I just need the address. Just the address and the date. So I said, look, you're my friends. I really want to see Davao City. I've heard all these good things. It's this very safe, cool city. I guess, like, I'm serious. I'm like, I guess I'll walk around looking for you. And they're getting ticked off. So again, it's this cultural thing. And another Asian friend, he's Chinese. He actually explained it. He said sometimes just because of that Asian culture, they're not using like technology, email, text message, and all these things. So it's like, that community culture, they're used to just saying to the street, hey, the wedding's on next week. Like last minute, go with the flow, right? Go with the flow, sort of live life by the day. So he's like, yeah, it's just more, they're not used to that formality of here's the date, here's the time, here's the location, wear formal dress, So it's kind of like weddings are an open thing. If you can turn up, and they just tell you more information closer to the date. And I'm so glad I went. So even when I went, it was still very up in the air. Like, I literally wasn't sure where we were supposed to meet and what date. And it was literally like when I was getting ready to get on the plane, it was like really close, just a few days before I got on the plane, they were releasing more information, because I said, guys, I'm coming to Davao City, so I hope I can meet you. I hope I could attend. And then we met up. It was fun. Once we met, we went to the hotel, beautiful waterfront Insula hotel, and a beautiful wedding. You can go see the video. Anyway, so I just thought that would be a little funny little story. But it's this cultural thing. Just be careful if people invite you to a wedding in Philippines. They may not tell you the address. But anyway, just try to explain, give me the address and the date so I know where to go, because, you're new to Philippines. But anyway, look guys, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it very much. Check out the Facebook page, of course. Check out the main YouTube channel. And, check out my other videos. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.